So I was able to start having nurse practitioners do stem cell therapy, and I would do the marketing and the sales. And at the same time, I always had my chiropractic office. It was called Center for Wellbeing, and that kind of went into a place where it turned into this healthy way to lose weight. We did weight loss. Right? We would have DJs lose weight, and the disc jockeys radio, and they would talk about it, and we did really, really well, to the point where I had 4 medical practices. And we had about 600 leads a month, and it did extremely well. Nurse practitioners working for me, and we always did the stem cells on the side, but the weight loss thing exploded.
Behind the practice.
Welcome back to Behind the Practice. I'm Katie Brinkley, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Jeff Donatello. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me on Behind the Practice today.
Great to be here.
Well, I kind of had planned on taking this conversation a couple different ways, but before we pressed record, you intrigued me, and so I have to start with this question. You made a very interesting pivot in your life.
Sure.
So let's talk about where you were and how you pivoted to where you are now.
Yeah, so going back, I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I fell into the world of chiropractic, graduated from Palmer in '95, had a great chiropractic office. About 8 years ago, I realized that I could have other people maybe work for me and get into the regenerative medicine world. And so I was able to start having nurse practitioners do stem cell therapy, and I would do the marketing and the sales. And at the same time, I always had my chiropractic office. It was called Center for Wellbeing. And that kind of went into a place where it turned into this healthy way to lose weight. We did weight loss. Right? We would have DJs lose weight, and the disc jockeys radio, and they would talk about it, and we did really, really well, to the point where I had 4 medical practices, and we had about 600 leads a month, and it did extremely well. Nurse practitioners working for me, and we always did the stem cells on the side, but the weight loss thing exploded. And what happened was, about fairly recent, these things called GLP-1s came in. Semaglutide, and it was, as soon as it went to the pharmaceutical grade, people started wanting to take the easy way out, maybe. And I'm not against it. I think for some people it's very important. But our business went down the tubes very quickly. It went from 600 leads a month in about 4 months to around 20 leads a month. And picture you have a big ship. We're doing $1.5 million a year in advertising, and it was going one way, and all of a sudden, it was not. It was ready to sink. So what I did was we actually let go of 26 W-2 employees the year before last, and it was very difficult. My wife is the co-owner. She's CEO, and we let everybody go. We closed down 4 practices, and I was able to get into I'm more of a broker now. I have about 70 1099 people around the country selling different products. So I distribute products for Platinum Biologics. We use Platinum. We still have our regenerative medicine side, where we have a medical doctor, and we work out of his office now. So we've had 4,000 patients in the stem cell world in the last 10 years. So we still work with him, but the pivot has been to go from a business owner to a guy that has a bunch of 1099s.
Yeah.
And so now I basically try to find the best products, regenerative biologics, that are either covered by insurance or aren't, and I get them in doctors' hands around the country with my sales reps. And it's been really fun to do.
Wow, that is such an interesting pivot, because I think that a lot of people listening might have, maybe they've never even had this type of opportunity, I'll say an opportunity happen where their brick-and-mortar, their practice is faced with this dilemma.
Yeah.
And laying off employees is one of the hardest things to do as a business owner.
Very difficult.
You get attached, and it's one of the hardest things to do. But instead of looking at what you had and saying, okay, well, that's the end, you shifted into what you do now, 1099s. What was that light bulb moment for you to say, okay, instead of trying to go back and rework the wheel and do what we've been doing, we're going to try something new. And we're going to try it with not W-2s.
Yeah. Well, I've been a visionary, and I'm curious, and I'm a crazy entrepreneur, and I'm very fortunate in that my father came here when he was 11 from Italy. He was an immigrant, and he's entrepreneurial too, so it's in my bloodstream. I always say I'm like psychotic when I'm able to go to see something that people would maybe say is horrible, and I'm like, next, right? And I just go to the next thing, and because it interests me, right? Which is why I'm here. I get to meet fine people like yourself, because my job is to really be curious and find out what's working at a national level, before everybody else knows, and get that information out to my doctors ahead of time. So for me, it was a lot easier, I think, than what my wife went through, because I wasn't as emotionally invested in. It sounds bad, but the employees, I was the one that let everybody go, and I felt bad, right? But again, I'm able to go, here we go. What's the next thing that we're on to? Now it can be a problem because I've been told by people that I leave sometimes one thing too quickly. So it's like focus, right? So that's my biggest challenge. I have to focus on really what's working and not go to the next shiny, I've been accused of having ADHD, but I don't have it, all right? I'm functional. I'm a functional ADHD person.
So with this shift, what was that light bulb moment? Because you found tremendous success with stem cell weight loss. Like you said, GLP-1s changed everything for you.
Yeah.
And
Sure. It really, we get into the wound care world. And if you know anything about the wound care world, it's out of everything I've ever seen, we're using allografts, and I had doctors that worked for us in mobile wound care. We're using allografts to help people with decubitus ulcers, and I've never seen anything work so well. At the same time, there was a lot of abuse in that world. People were billing out stupid dollar amounts, and Medicare came crashing down, as they should have, on it because there was so much abuse. But we did it really well, and we helped a lot of people. And the doctors did very well. We did very well, and it was enough to get us initially out of that hole. And because my team did well, what happens is typically the people that are at a high level with these products, they find you because they know you have access to salespeople that will sell their product. So whether it's hyperbaric oxygen or a cryo chamber, I now have different things in my tool chest that I can get out to my guys to sell. And I think they trust me because I have a track record of selling things that it's hard to get in with these doctors, and I have connections.
So if someone's listening right now and they're saying, well, wait a second, I'm interested. How do I know if my doctor has some of the latest and greatest?
Yeah, how do you know if you're like from a consumer or like another, like if say it again, if your doctor has...
If a person's listening right now, how can they make sure that their clinician has, the best technology, the best tools, the best options for them?
All right, so you're saying, how does a consumer know if their doctor has the best stuff?
Yeah.
That's a good question, because they have to trust, right? I think in this day and age, we have this thing called ChatGPT. I use Gemini for AI, there's Claude. If you don't know how to use AI, you got a problem. I just told the doctor who's thinking of working with me, I said, here's my name, look me up. You're going to see everything about me. It's all there, and it's all good. Well, and not everybody loves me, but I have no felonies.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I have a good track record. We're a small business, locally owned, family owned, and so I think you really, before you get involved with anybody and you hand your money over or your time to a doctor, you really should vet them out. And also, I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't be able to review doctors online. It's horrible. We've had some horrible reviews from people that didn't even do care in our offices over the years, and it's not fair. So just know that when you do vet out a doctor, I think a consumer needs to know, get an idea, but don't, if there's one bad review, that's just one bad review. Get a feel, and you can do that with AI very easily.
So one of the things that you made the shift was from W-2s to 1099s.
Yeah.
And I want to go the business owner route here just for a little bit. So if someone's listening right now and they are a clinician, they have their own practice, maybe they're ready to take that next step. You've had 4 different locations. You've had W-2 employees in there. How do you find the right people to fill those roles? And which roles should they be? Should they be 1099s or should they be W-2s?
So if I own a practice, do I want 1099s working for me?
Yeah.
Well, if you have a practice, they have to be W-2, right? If it's a brick-and-mortar building, they have to. So you got to remember, our 1099 employees are all over the country. And the questions that I get a lot is, how did you find all these people with connections? And I think that coming to a place like this, right? People talk about public speaking, they're scared to stand in front of a crowd. What I've found is most people are scared to go up to 2 or 3 people that are talking and get into that conversation, or to sit at a table and be able to connect, right? Yeah. So I have a book of business. They say that your net worth is based on your network. And I think that's huge. Your network, your people, who you're connected to on your phone, and the trust you build. I mean, I'm at a point where I'm 57 now, and if I haven't built trust with a lot of people, I've messed up. So I think my success is based on, doing in the past what I said I was going to do, and then people will bring the next opportunity to you, and being connected with those types of people.
Yeah, I love that. If you could have your crystal ball, and you could look into the future to see what the healthcare system is going to look like in 5 years.
Yeah. I used to have this I had a crystal ball, it was awesome, and I dropped it, and it broke. And so I have trouble. I used to be able to predict everything. The answer is this. I think that the administration helps, not to be political, we have to be careful. I think RFK Jr. is doing a wonderful job. It's making our lives a lot easier. Under the Biden administration, they use words like illegal for using stem cells and exosomes, and it scared people off because they didn't realize it wasn't illegal. You just had to follow certain 361 guidelines, right? So I think that the administration, if we can just get another Republican group in there, personally, I feel it's just going to explode the ability to get to be able to be free to use some of these things that aren't under FDA, regulation as much. It's the biggest struggle. Is it FDA approved? I hate the general public is all based on, if it's not approved, it must be bad, and they don't understand that there's nuance to it. So I think we're in a really good place now.
There's new learnings.
And the other thing I want to say about this is that the medical doctors, when it comes to stem cell therapy, are finally 10 years later accepting that it's helping people, and they're all starting to become part of the revolution. Yeah. And that is really good in the public's eye. My doctor said it's good. When I started this 10 years ago, the MDs were like, there's not enough studies, that's quackery. But now the MDs are coming around, which is exciting to see.
How do you help the people that are working for you now change that mindset?
The people that work for me?
Yeah, of the people that they're approaching and selling to and trying to get the product into their offices.
Yeah, I think it's the ethos out there right now. I think just with this, what pops in my head is social media right now is, you have people like podcasters like Joe Rogan, right? You know how many patients I've gotten from Joe Rogan saying good things about stem cells? Probably, I would say 25% of our patients are because Joe Rogan said good things. So I think that just it's easier for our docs to get in now because it's more accepted. The regenerative biologic world is just an easier place. It's been around long enough now that there's been results. And I think most people know someone that's gotten results with it, whether it's skin or joints or general health. So it's a lot easier now.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, this has been a fantastic conversation. I really appreciate your time. If people want to connect with you and learn more about you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think the best way, if you go to centerforwell.com, that's Center for Wellbeing is our company name. You can kind of see what we do a little bit more. And, if you want to look me up, Jeff Donatello, I'm all over the internet. And you get a good feel what I'm all about.
Amazing. Well, Jeff, this has been an incredible conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on Behind the Practice.
Likewise. Thank you.
Behind the Practice is produced by Next Step Social and Podcasting and hosted by Katie Brinkley and Sean Quintero. A special thank you to our guests today. This episode was recorded live at the Boston BioLife Functional Longevity Summit. A special thank you to the team that helped make this podcast happen.